5 teams are battling it out to try to get into the Junkyard Joust main event. Hi everybody, I'm Aaron Yonda and welcome to the Junkyard Joust. You're going to recognize some of these teams, though most of them have entirely new members. And we've got one brand new team. Let's head into the garage and see what we've got. First up, it's Massive Transit. They use brute force and weight to destroy their enemies. Featuring Bone Blazers, sponsored by Swedenborg Smorgasbord. Copter Chase, sponsored by Jedi. Speed Blaster, sponsored by the Turbo Ventures. Fuel and Fire, sponsored by Brendan Walsh. Custom VW, sponsored by Hendrika's Heavy Hauling. Up next, we've got the Bubble Bursters, and they're even more bubbly than usual. Featuring Sandy Cheeks, sponsored by Illuminati Public Relations. Gudetama, sponsored by Emo Dingo. The Jetsons, sponsored by Sloss Automotive Sachet and Buffet. The Invisible Woman, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. Karapi, sponsored by Willful Fiber Art. And here's our new team, the Thunder Cutter, sponsored by TJG, You Shut Up When Pink Floyd is Playing. With the Turbo Wedge, sponsored by Judy Collins. American Victory, sponsored by PriceX Private Parts. Firebird Funny Car, sponsored by Beaks Busted Barn Finds. Super Modified, sponsored by Carlton Hill Enterprises. And Steamroller, sponsored by Mark the Music Lover. Yellowhammer is back. They did all right in Season 2, but they're back to try to take it all the way. Featuring Rapid Responder, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Pixel Shaker, sponsored by Wayland Enterprises International. Crescendo, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Wall-E, sponsored by Raygull Radio. And Two Timer, sponsored by Chemical Knight. Batmobility is back. Their new lineup is, of course, all Batmobiles. Featuring this Batmobile, sponsored by Ellis Wertenberger. A Chrome Batmobile, sponsored by Chome. This Batmobile making a return from the previous team, sponsored by Bentley's Brakes and Bumpers. This Batmobile, sponsored by Crow and Turtles Mini Painting. And this Batmobile, sponsored by Bion Automotive. The rules are simple. Survive. Every car has to drive down the track, smash into the rest of the cars, and if they end up upside down or sideways at the end of a round, they are eliminated. Any cars that are right side up at the end of the round move on to the next round. In the qualifier, the match ends when 2 teams have lost all their cars, and the remaining 3 teams move on. Winnebago was assimilated last episode by the Borg and is now Winneborgo. And now the Borg is heading off somewhere. Could be that the Borg is going to go down in some of the cars? Entirely possible. Meanwhile, Winnebago is going to guard the cube. Here comes Speed Blaster to start us off in round 1 for Massive Transit. Speed Blaster gives it to Evil Weevil, our track buffer. Almost knocked Evil Weevil off the track. And now we're getting right into the undercutting with Super Modified for the Thunder Cutters. Super Modified gets right underneath Speed Blaster, but look at that recovery. The entire back of the vehicle goes up, but comes back down in a nice, steady manner, and Speed Blaster is in great shape right now. Batmobile up next for Batmobility. The Batmobile gets under Super Modified. Super Modified flips and makes a nice recovery, does not go sideways, and right now is looking pretty safe. Good hit. Pixel Shaker for Yellowhammer. Pixel Shaker really rams into the Batmobile hard. Harder than I thought was going to happen. The Batmobile goes flipping all over the place, but makes a very adept recovery. Nice move there. Here's an unusual car, the Invisible Woman for Bubble Bursters. Whoa, I think the Invisible Woman actually went invisible part of the way down the track and then just reappeared right before that hit. Definitely a first for Junkyard Joust. We haven't had any invisible cars before. That's pretty cool. Not sure if there's any strategy there, but it looks cool. Another first for the Joust, a Borg going down in one of the vehicles. And of course it shows one of the biggest ones. Massive Transit gets a huge hit, and the Borg goes flying all the way over to the junkyard, completely behind all the cars. Wow, just pinched in between Pixel Shaker and the VW, and just goes hurling off in the distance. Pixel Shaker makes a great recovery, by the way. I don't think we're gonna see the Borg for a little bit. Here comes Turbo Wedge. Turbo Wedge gets under the VW, but look at that, just steady as can be. The VW just hopping up a little bit farther into relative safety. Here comes another Batmobile. This one sits pretty low to the ground. We'll see if that comes into play. The Batmobile gets underneath Turbo Wedge, but Turbo Wedge a little heavy on the back end, can't get too far under, and everything just kind of settles. Now we'll find out whether the tail of that Batmobile will work as a ramp. Crescendo is going to take the plunge. Crescendo does not go flying off the back of that Batmobile, just pushes under. The Batmobile now completely submerged underneath the VW, and Turbo Wedge makes a good recovery. Gudetama. Looks like this car's got a low center of gravity. Gudetama slams into Crescendo and cannot get Crescendo off the track. Crescendo wedged underneath the VW. And Gudetama backs down the trackaways. Copter chase. Big hit coming right now. Copter chase just knocks Gudetama for a loop, but look at this. Gudetama rolls and rolls and rolls, and it looks like that bubble on the top of Gudetama has done it a favor here. Unfortunately, it looks like Copter chase just took out his own teammate up at the front. That's the peril of these heavy vehicles. American victory now for the Cutters. American victory pops up Copter chase into the air, gets underneath, but Copter chase does not tip over. Great hit by American victory. Here comes a Batmobile. The Batmobile slams into all the cars. Doesn't really get much to happen. A little bit of shuffling, and the VW tips over completely. Two-timer for the Hammer. Two-timer pops American Victory up, even underneath Copter Chase. And American Victory is now upside down. Copter Chase refuses to tip over, though. And I see two Batmobiles wedged together there. Sandy Cheeks for the Bursters. Sandy Cheeks knocks Two-Timer right off the track and takes his place behind the two Batmobiles. Another fairly good-sized hit coming up, Bone Blazers. Bone Blazers, not too bad of a hit, just kind of slams everybody forward. Doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, although way up at the front, Crescendo is starting to tip. Firebird, funny car, heavy vehicle here for the Cutters. Wow, Bone Blazers goes way up in the air and comes right down. Amazing job there. Looks like Sandy Cheeks is upside down, and looks like also Crescendo is starting to turn. Unfortunately, the Firebird funny car sideways after that hit. We'll see if he stays like that. Here comes the Batmobile. The Batmobile slams into Firebird funny car, and Firebird funny car is now upside down. Went the wrong way. Gonna be hard to recover from that. Batmobile is curbside. Rapid Responders up now. The Responder slams into the Batmobile, pushes it off the track, but it's still right side up, and Responder's starting to go up. The Jetsons, tiny little car. The Jetson slams into Responder. Responder drives up, it stays right side up on the top of the Batmobile, and on top of Bone Blazers, not too much going on there. Here comes Fuel and Fire, the biggest truck on the team. A bruising hit, but look at this. Firebird funny car is flipped back over. It looked like that car was doomed, but Fuel and Fire actually managed to give enough force to turn it back over. So despite that big hit, it looks like there was no damage. In fact, only a good thing happened. Steamroller for the Thunder Cutters. Steamroller slams into the back of Fuel and Fire, but it's not going anywhere. Gonna be hard to get that thing off the track. Here comes another Batmobile for the mobility. Batmobile gets a fairly weak hit on the back of Steamroller and doesn't change much. Jetsons are starting to topple over a little bit, though. Next up is Wall-E, a little vehicle, but heavy. Gonna pack a punch. Ooh, a nasty hit right there from Wall-E, but look at what happens. The Batmobile goes hurtling through the air and lands way over on the back of, is that Copter Chase? I think that was Copter Chase, and Wall-E flips over and is upside down. Might not stay that way, but man, that did not work out for Wall-E. Karapi now. Karapi is the final car of this round, and look at what just happened there. Wall-E is righted, and unfortunately, Karapi flips over upside down. Yellow Hammer's got to be happy about that, but the Bubble Burster's probably not so much. We've got a massive pile of cars here, and the weird thing about that is only 5 of them are sideways or upside down. Wow, we've got a match going on, folks. These cars do not want to lose. Taking a look at the aftermath. Massive Transit lost 1, Thunder Cutters lost 1, Batmobility lost 0, Yellow Hammer lost 0, and the Bubble Bursters took a big hit with 3 of the losses out of 5. We're gonna head right into round 2. Batmobility did so good in round 1, they're gonna try to keep it up in this round, and they're maybe gonna try to get some ramp action with the back of that car this time. Yellowhammer's gonna send down Pixel Shaker. Looks like the Borg is already back, and now it's going down in Pixel Shaker this time. VW got eliminated, but that's not stopping the Borg, and a nice hit there. Does not go off the back of that car like a ramp, but does get pushed backwards quite a bit. Well, at least the Borg is not currently assimilating anyone. That's a good thing. Super Modified, now we're gonna get some undercutter action. Super Modified can't quite get under the Pixel Shaker. Does manage to knock the Borg off to the side of the track. It gets jostled and pushed and then finally falls out to the side. Not the best position to be in, but the Borg just survived a massive hit last round, so I think it's gonna be fine. And here comes Speed Blaster, huge vehicle. Speed Blaster just plows into Pixel Shaker and Super Modified. Pixel Shaker gets the worst of it, flips upside down. It looks like he wanted to get right side up again, but stopped by Super Modified, and Super Modified makes a great recovery. Here comes the Invisible Woman. And she materializes just in time to smash into the back of Speed Blaster, pushes Speed Blaster forward a little bit, and then bounces back. Time for another Batmobile. The Batmobile knocks Invisible Woman out off the track, flips it over, bounces, and then flips right up again. Got a nice rounded top on that thing. Gonna be hard to eliminate that vehicle. Not only that, but it's kind of hard to see that vehicle. Rapid Responder. Rapid Responder takes out a Batmobile, flips it over and upside down, cannot make a recovery. Evil Weevil in the way. Good hit there. Yellowhammer's doing all right despite the loss of Pixel Shaker. Turbo Wedge. Turbo Wedge, ooh, Rapid Responder is sideways, but still on the track, so there's still a chance of recovery there. And Speed Blaster is now teetering, could be in danger. Massive Transit doesn't want to take Speed Blaster out, so they're sending down the lightest vehicle on the team. Bone Blazer's still too heavy and knocks out his own teammate. That is just not what this team wants to happen. Rapid Responder also tipped off sideways, and Turbo Wedge is curbside, but surviving. Gudetama. Gudetama slams into the back of Bone Blazers, goes up though on its tail or whatever that is, and is sideways, finishes off Speed Blaster. Should be interesting to see what happens to Gudetama here when this Batmobile collides. The Batmobile slides under Gudetama, and look at that, Gudetama just pops upright and lands it. Great recovery there, and Bone Blazers is just sitting on top of that Batmobile now. Hard to tell from that expression whether Gudetama is excited about the recovery or not. Crescendo's up now for Yellowhammer. Crescendo bams into the back of Batmobile and Bone Blazers. Bone Blazers manages to get mostly off the track and recovers, and Batmobile's doing all right. It looks like Turbo Wedge is sideways and out if it stays that way. Steamroller. Steamroller rolls into Crescendo and does Crescendo a big favor, pushing Crescendo off the track, right side up. Batmobile goes off the other Batmobile, and Rapid Responder is still iffy right now in that position. Here comes a big one, Fuel and Fire. Fuel and Fire mauls Steamroller. Steamroller gets thrown into the crates and doesn't land it, or did land it, I can't even tell. Keeps going, hits Batmobile, and Rapid Responder completely knocked upside down. Turbo Wedge almost saved, and yep, it looks like Steamroller is definitely out over there. Here comes another Batmobile. Batmobile slams into Fuel and Fire. Fuel and Fire pushed off and going sideways, but not quite there yet. It is close. Two-timer. Two-timer takes out one of the Batmobiles with the other Batmobile, flips it right over the back of that car, not proving to be an advantage, and the other Batmobile is still fine. So far, we're seeing a lot more calamity than we did in the last round. Round 2 has already been more devastating. Firebird Funny Car. The Funny Car knocks 3 cars right off the track and bounces backwards. Two-timer flips over right side up. Both of the Batmobiles get tossed, and I got bad news for Batmobility. They're both upside down now. Two-timer's looking good, but not either of those Batmobiles. Unbelievable hit. Copter Chase is going to try to wipe the smile off of that Funny Car right now. And not able to do it. A nice big hit, but the Funny Car pops up and uses its ability to flip up the shell of its car to absorb some of that impact and stays on the track. And here comes the Batmobile that had that amazing recovery last round. Minor fender bender in the back of Copter Chase for the Batmobile, but the Batmobile stays slotted onto the track. And the final car for the round is going to be Wall-E for Yellowhammer. Wall-E punches the Batmobile all the way down the track. That happened last round, and this round the Batmobile slams into the crates and flips over upside down. No recovery this time, and it looks like Wall-E is out of luck as well because nobody else is coming down to right him. And I've never seen a round 2 like this before. 11 eliminations in that round compared to 5 in the first round. Aftermath shows us something unbelievable. All of the Batmobility cars, all 5, have been eliminated. Batmobility is out of this match. All of these teams taking some damage. Massive Transit down to 2. Thundercutters down to 3. Yellowhammer and Bubble Bursters also at 2. But Batmobility breaking the unfortunate record of everyone eliminated in round 2. That was quite a round. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
The Winnebago Concepts and Engineering Departments.
They deported me! They kicked me out! I'm done with international travel. Those fools are crazy. I'm on my break. I need to get back to the kitchen. I don't drink.
Welcome back to the Joust. Round 3 is in full effect. Super Modified for the Thundercutters. Starting out as usual, Super Modified gets underneath Evil Weevil, pushes him up to the front of the track. We've got 9 out of 25 cars remaining after that stunning second round. Invisible Woman. Invisible Woman disappears, reappears just in time to make the hit. Doesn't do a whole lot, but she's slotted in. Crescendo. Crescendo reaches a high pitch, and Invisible Woman is tossed off the track, tries to roll into a recovery, but rolls towards the track, and unfortunately, that's going to stop her from making a recovery. That was one of the only ways that car was going to get eliminated, and it just happened. Bone Blazers. Bone Blazers slams into the 2 cars in front of it, but they're not going anywhere. Everybody's locked in. Here comes a heavy hit from the Firebird Funny Car. Firebird Funny Car knocks Bone Blazers way up in the air. That's amazing. That's a huge semi. But Bone Blazers manages to make a recovery. Big vehicle like that. That is truly impressive. Super Modified pushed up, but does not get tipped over. Funny Car is sideways. Gudetama, the last hope for the Bubble Bursters. Ooh, a nice hit there, and the Funny Car is not laughing anymore. Gudetama pushes it right off, upside down, almost manages to right Invisible Woman, gives it an attempt, and Invisible Woman is close to recovering right there. Gudetama nearly saved their teammate. Two-timer. Two-timer pops Gudetama up in the air, and oh no, look at that. Gudetama trying to make that recovery, but gets hung up on the edge, on the sidewall of the track, and can't get right side up. It might not be over, but it's not looking good for the Bubble Bursters right now. Copter Chase. Copter Chase makes mincemeat of Two-timer, but Two-timer too quick and agile, pushes into the crates and lands right side up. Gudetama still stuck. Copter Chase now up on the safety rail. Turbo Wedge is going to give a shot getting Copter Chase off the track. Turbo Wedge gets under Copter Chase, but Copter Chase is not moving. Just hops up in the air and lands it. That was the final car of round 3, and I got bad news for the Bubble Bursters. Doesn't look good for them right now. Let's take a look at the aftermath. With the loss of Gudetama and Invisible Woman, Bubble Bursters becomes the second team eliminated from this match. This match is over. Massive Transit, Thundercutters, and Yellowhammer are moving on. Congrats to these 3 teams, each of them with 2 cars remaining. They are all going to the Junkyard Joust main event. Well played. It looks like the Borg sustained enough damage to need to do a little recharging. Protected by Winnebago. What does the Borg have planned for the future? Only one way to find out. Tune in next week on Junkyard Joust. Don't forget to check out the Junkyard Joust Discord where you can bet on the matches for free. And like and comment on the video if you can. Helps me out with the algorithm. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon on Junkyard Joust.